agenda.
No,
But I don't think we got.
I did do the minutes, so they are there.
They are here.
Yeah.
First of all, is there any change to the agenda? Nobody has seen the agenda. So at 6 o'clock, we have Catherine Metric, so we're going to be a little bit late tonight.
Primer, the statement, your COVID statement.
Sort it out.
Hi, Polly.
All right, so we will restart this. This meeting is now 6:07 according to that clock. This meeting is being recorded. As chair of the Town of Enosburgh Selectboard, I find that due to the state of emergency declared by Governor Scott as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, pursuant to Addendum 6, Executive Order 01-20 and Act 92 of this public body is authorized to meet electronically. In accordance with Act 92, there is no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to this meeting. However, in accordance with temporary amendments to the open meeting law, I confirm that we are providing public access to the meeting by video with additional access offered through telephone. We're using Zoom video conferencing for this remote meeting. All members of the select board have the ability to communicate contemporaneously during this meeting through this platform. The public has access to contemporaneously listen and, if desired, participate in this meeting by clicking the raise your hand option via video or *9 via phone. Once acknowledged, please clearly state your name and then proceed with a question or comment. B, provide public notice and instructions for accessing this meeting. We previously gave notice to the public of necessary information for accessing this meeting, including how to access the meeting using video or telephone in our posted meeting agenda. Instructions have also been provided on the town website at www.enosburghvermont.org. To see if you're experiencing technical difficulty and not able to access this meeting with either video or telephone, please call 802-933-4421. Please note that all votes taken during this meeting that are not unanimous will be done by roll call vote in accordance with the law. Let's start the meeting by taking a roll call. I'm the chair, Larry Jarvis.
Dean Wright.
Gary Wright.
Holly Rico.
Polly's on Zoom. Okay. So now we look at the agenda to see if we need to make any adjustments and if everybody here is. You do have an agenda, Polly?
No.
You have? Okay. So at 6 o'clock, we have Catherine Dimitrick. 6:30, Susie Hall, Cass Fan. At 7, Yvonne Keel. 7:30, Scott Flieger.
We need to add Vermont Connections contract, which was, we were going to put on the 13th agenda, but since our 13th meeting got kicked at the 20th, we need to add that.
So do I have a motion and second?
I'll move.
Terry made a motion. Are you seconding it, Polly?
Yep.
Terry made a motion and Polly seconded to add Vermont Connection discussion. We'll put that on the agenda. Any more discussion? Having none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed say nay. Okay.
I had an aye vote.
Probably had an aye vote.
I think because I'm remote, you might have to do roll. Do a roll vote.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Terry and Dean also said aye.
Right.
Polly. Terry Wright, Dean Wright, Polly Rico. Was there something else on the agenda that we may have needed to talk about? No, we may want to talk a little bit on Town Highway. Joey just got a few updates. He's not going to be here. We'll just handle a couple things down. check my notes from last meeting. And with Scott, are we also talking about, did we have homework we were supposed to look at?
I didn't bring mine with me tonight.
Yes, we did.
Because
It was a handbook.
Property.
Yeah.
So that can be under his anyways. But we may just have to add a discussion on the town highway, just update, general discussion. Somebody moves.
I'll move to add the discussion on the town highway. Second.
So Dean Wright moved to add town highway discussion. Terry Wright seconded. Do we have any more discussion? Having none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Terry Wright said aye, Dean Wright said aye, Polly Rico said aye. All those opposed say nay. So, if that's all set, we'll get going with our agenda. We may want to just bypass the minutes for right now, seeing we're behind, and we've had Catherine waiting, so we can probably put her right on.
You just let me know when you're ready for me and I'll get started.
Okay, you should be all set to get started, Catherine. Can you hear it? Is she muted? I think she's muted.
Good to go. Catherine, can you unmute yourself?
Can you do sign language?
How about now?
Yes, now I can.
There we
You
go.
have to give me permission to speak.
Too many
So-
buttons.
Thanks so much for having me come tonight to talk about this. We also have Rob Fish from the Vermont Public Service Department. Should you ask me questions, most of which I probably can't answer, so Rob will be here. And Emily Clough from our staff is also working with me on this project. And Sean has been an integral part of the conversations leading up to having this on your agenda tonight. So what we wanted to talk about tonight is to invite the town of Enosburgh to be a founding member in a new communications union district that will be formed to serve the communities in Franklin and maybe some in Grand Isle County as well. The communications union district is a special purpose government district that was authorized by the legislature to focus on a single goal of improving broadband access and accessibility, especially in unserved or underserved areas of the state. The communications union districts, since that's been authorized, have now been formed in all parts of the state except for ours. So we have lots of examples to learn from through the rest of the state. A communications union district is an independent government entity. Once municipalities vote to form this union district, then that union district controls itself. Each municipality that votes to be a member appoints a representative, and then it governs itself, very similar to the solid waste district and how that is managed. If our communities tonight decide to form this district, we would need 2 communities to vote to form a district. The next steps would be to have an organizational meeting to set up the government entity. We would apply for and hopefully receive grants to do feasibility analysis to examine the unserved areas of the area and recommend capital and other investments to improve service in those areas. There's also other funding that's available. The Vermont Community Foundation is supporting communications union districts operations with some funding. And also the CARES Act funding that the state got, a portion of that has been set aside to support capital projects and other projects from the communications union districts. So now is a really great time to jump on this new form of government with the goal of increasing and improving broadband access throughout the region. Initially, if this moves forward and municipalities vote to form it, NRPC is available to help serve as administrative support to get it going and get it up and functioning. And then after that point, the Communications Union District Board itself would make a decision about how best to administer the Communications Union District and whether they would continue to need NRPC assistance. But we're here available to help at the beginning, and then the district itself can decide what happens next. So that's a really quick overview of the governance. And Sean, did you want to jump in and kind of talk about why you would want to do this? What the benefit is?
If you guys remember, I guess two things. So one of the goals set forth by my position, and then obviously Dean and Holly had a little bit more knowledge of kind of what my objectives were from the beginning. One of those is improving and developing infrastructure. And it specifically indicates including broadband service. So that was worked into one of my goals and objectives. That's why I feel it's important, well, from my position. But also, if you guys remember, I did that survey roughly a little over a year ago. Enosburgh is one of those communities that it's kind of a tale of two communities, really. I mean, within the village, they have provider of choice. They have options. They can choose what provider they want to go with. They have better quality of service as well. The greater town, Bob has the exact numbers. If I'm remembering correctly, roughly 54% of folks that live outside of the village fall below the FCC standard for adequate broadband. So we very much fall within, we have kind of two communities. We have a community that has accessible broadband and a community that does not. So this is a good opportunity to kind of jumpstart that effort in closing that gap and providing what is essentially becoming a essential utility for modern day. And we should, at least I personally feel we should take this opportunity to participate in this. And I had looked at it personally just as, what could Enosburgh do? It would be a really big undertaking and very expensive for Enosburgh to tackle this problem themselves. Collaborating with other communities really is the best way to do this.
So I have a question and a comment. And so my question is, once the CUD gets going, who becomes the liaison between the group and the state? Would that be regional?
It could be, if the Communications Union District is interested in us serving in that role. It could be that one of the municipal members want to serve in that role. It could be that the Union District uses some of an operating grant that they're eligible for through the Community Foundation to hire some assistance to help with some of the initial work. Rob, are there different models, any other models that I just outlined?
I think you hit them. I think you hit them all. In most cases, it's whoever is elected chair of the Communication Union District is who the state looks at as the representative for that district.
Okay. I was just trying to think of a way not to diffuse voice, you know what I'm saying? So my comment is I've sat through numerous meetings for the Joint Fiscal Office in the state, and they've talked about that our representatives in Washington are working really hard to funnel some money into the state, because when COVID happened and we went into shutdown, lockdown, remote, everything, it exposed our underbelly as far as communications. And so we know that they're trying to get money here. And I think also, as we know, anytime we have feasibility studies or anything like that, it sets us up in a position that when the money does roll, we're ready to get it. And so my personal opinion is I see nothing wrong with it. So that's me.
And it's, Rob can clarify if I'm incorrect, but it's that those monies that Polly is speaking to, a CUD is the vehicle in which to attain those. Those seem to be the method in which most of the funders have deemed appropriate to give those funds to. I know I believe that the CARES money is specific to CUDs. Is that correct, Rob?
Yes, that is correct. There's the COVID Response Connected Community Resilience Program. So one of the many mouthfuls of new grant programs that we're trying to get up and running this week. And that grant program dedicates $800,000 that's dealt out in $100,000 grants to the communication union districts. As Catherine mentioned, the community foundations are giving to start $100,000 to each of the, I'm sorry, correct myself there, to start $10,000 to each of the communication union districts, and there'll be a larger donation and possibly an investment down the line. The state, as well as various funders, are looking at the communication union district as a way to reach the addresses that normal providers have said there's no business case to reach. That we have to have Polly's address, apparently, yes, that we have to serve everybody. And this is one way to do it, and it's one way that has a track record. If you look at EC Fiber, they're now serving, I believe it's almost up to 6,000 or 7,000 customers with fiber to the premise. This is future-proof. This has the same download speed as upload speed. It's not something that's going to have to be replaced. It's setting your community up for success for the long term. The other thing with communication union districts, it provides some governance, and it provides a voice as these new funds come in at the federal level. And I can't remember who said it about having a plan ready to go for when those funds come in, whether it's federal funding or state funding or private funding. That is one of the major reasons why to create this and start now. Like, the timing can't be better.
So I have actually another question. So looking forward, let's just kind of, I know it's a vision, but do you foresee, as part of being part of the group, any financial responsibility on the town's part?
There is no, that's one of the beauties about the communication union district. It insulates each individual town from the responsibility. A communication union district is not allowed to take tax-derived funds from the community, from the towns. They have to be funded entirely by grants, by gifts, or primarily by a revenue bond, by the revenue. It's backed by the revenue that said plan, said network is going to produce. And that's written into statute. That's not something that's just like we decided that this isn't happening. It's, the law would have to be changed for that to change.
So how many municipalities do you envision going to join? Do you have you approached other municipalities up to this point yet? Or?
Yes, after this meeting tonight, we'll be going to Fairfax and then Montgomery, both of which have expressed interest. And then additionally, next week, Fairfield will have this on their agenda. The town of Georgia has expressed interest, but it's just not scheduled on a meeting yet. And then after tonight, I'm going to explicitly reach out to Bakersfield and Berkshire, which are two communities which we know have large underserved areas, and keep going from there. So the beauty of Zoom is I can go to 3 select board meetings tonight.
Beauty is one word for it.
And so if I had to guess, if you're just asking me to look in my crystal ball, I would say that within a month we could have, 6 to 7 municipalities that could be part of the district. And one thing that's really great about the feasibility analysis that we do is that it doesn't have to be limited only to the municipalities that are in the district, correct, Rob?
No, the feasibility study can be the entire county or the entire RPC. You can also look at it if you wanted to be like, would it be a more feasible project if you joined with the group in Lamoille County that's creating a communication union district. So this is any action tonight would really just be opening the door to having a foot in the door, being able to receive the $100,000 from the CARES Act money, being able to it opens the door to funding. It opens the door to planning, so you're ready.
Yeah, again, I'm in support. I don't know if there's any other questions out there. If not, I would move to join the CUD.
Just to hold on, that would be actually to create the CUD. You'd be a founding member,
Good.
Oh,
Yeah,
that makes
there's
this
a-
sound so important.
and you have the text of the resolution with the name and all of that. Okay.
so there is a resolution that I sent to Bobby Joe that I think you guys probably have in the room. That is a resolution to actually establish and form the community union district. So it's basically the language that you would put in a motion if you had it in front of you, Polly.
If I didn't. So I move to sign the resolution to create the CUD.
So a motion's been made by Polly Rico and seconded by Dean Wright to create the CUD. Move to approve. Any more discussion? If having none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Terry Wright said aye, Dean Wright said aye, Polly Rico said aye. Any nays? Looks like we are adopting it.
You are first.
Basically, just need-
Congratulations.
So next steps, you can, if you choose to tonight, appoint your representative and alternate to the Communications Union District, or you can wait until your next meeting. If you already know who that might be and you want to do it tonight, that would be fine. We're assuming that either Fairfax or Montgomery will also say yes tonight, and therefore by the end of the evening, we will officially have a Communications Union District.
So I think we probably should have a conversation, but I can see Sean. Sorry. I had to. Mhm.
I mean, that is the question, is that something, I know it's in your area.
Can't imagine there's somebody with Enosburgh that would probably be a better fit.
So you're not me.
So I'm fine with that. I'm fully
And an alternate would be.
He said he was fine.
possibly Matt.
Yes.
Yeah. Matt Minor, maybe an alternate. We need to check with him.
So I'll make the motion.
He's also. Go ahead, Polly.
I was gonna say, then I'll make the motion to appoint Sean to the CUD, and then we can talk with Matt or some and see who has interest. But I'll make the motion to appoint Sean to the CUD.
So Polly Rico made a motion to appoint Sean Keel to CUD as our representative. Terry Wright seconded it. Any more discussion? Having none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Terry Wright said aye, Dean Wright said aye, Polly Rico said aye. Any nays? All right, so we have Sean as our representative, and we'll discuss the alternate.
This is great. I'm very excited. Thank you all for being willing to go first.
Two alternates, because there's two lines for alternates. Are they asking for two alternates, or?
You can appoint up to 2 alternates.
But you don't have to, but you can.
Catherine, do you need the original, or can I just scan a copy?
Oh, scanning is fine.
Just zoom it. There you go, Terry. If there's something. All right.
Well, thank you all. I'm going to jump off now, unless you need me for anything else.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. I'll see some of you at 7.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Good evening. Okay, so we have Susie at 6:30, and I see Matt on there. Is Susie also gonna be, or just Matt?
Matt, is it just you?
I assume that Susie's also going to be here. I just sent her a text message to remind her, but I'm kind of surprised she's not here yet. So, but I mean, if she's not here, I can speak to what I think she has some information that I don't have, but I think I can let you guys know everything. Oh, there she is.
Oh, perfect.
All right, great.
Oh, dear God. Thank you, thank you, Matt. Totally forgot it.
All right.
All right, where are we?
We just got on to we just pivoted from the last order of business, so it's
Just move to Matt and yourself, and I don't have anything besides your name here on this agenda, so we'll give the floor to you.
So I think Billy Joe's a little bit up to speed, but here and we have a couple things probably. Matt, remind me, don't let me forget to talk about painting, but
Yep.
in general. So I have Pete Mazurek coming. This is not something we've talked about in the past. Pete Mazurek is the engineer that Jim Cameron has connected us with for free, I believe, and he's going to call this week when he can be into town, and we're going to look at the back so that we can move forward on the drainage around the building. So Matt, if I'm not available, or even if I am, I'm going to tag you and let you know when he's coming. And then his only question is, if we find a way to divert the water, where's it's going? I was going to get Gary Denton in on that meeting as well, because that would involve them. That's kind of an information for you guys. But in the past, we've talked about a historic credit grant. Now, what it does is it takes any project that we're working on that qualifies, and then 50% of that project, they will award us historic credits. Historic credits are bought by banks. One of them is People's Trust. They buy them. And it can be like 95, 97 cents on the dollar. So if, say, just to use easy numbers, because math sucks, if we had a $100,000 grant, if we had a $100,000 project, 50,000 of it could qualify as historic credits, and we could sell those credits to a bank and get 97 cents on the dollar for that 50,000. The municipalities cannot apply for this grant. However, we asked about if we could put some of our stuff together, and it's because we're in a downtown designated area. That's why we would qualify, which you guys put together about a decade ago or so. If we could use the painting as part of the project, and that would bolster up the numbers, would that work? They said yes, but a municipality can't apply for this thing. I said, well, what if, and so we were very above board. Heidi was involved with this, Heidi Britch, very involved with this. What if the painter gets done and they say, okay, $15,000. And we went to you and you wrote a check to the Opera House for $15,000. We turn around, write a check to the painter for $15,000. They all know this roundabout thing and they're fine with it. Would that work? They said, yes, it would work. So we're not pulling the wool over anybody's eyes around this. But if we were able to do that, it would help us get more money. Now, the money that we would get from a historic preservation grant, Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, but the intention is to put it back somehow into the building anyways, correct?
I believe that's true. Yes.
Yeah.
So these are historic tax credits. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Yes.
So it's not something that the Opera House would turn around and, put on a play with. These credits, this money that we would get would end up, on some of our facility projects in one shape or form. I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, but.
I believe that's the way it's supposed to work.
Okay.
Yes. I could be totally wrong about that. You and Heidi have done a lot more work on this than I have. So basically what we're wondering is if, since the town already has an investment on the table with the painting project, if we could coordinate with the town so that, you know, basically when we get a bill presented from a contractor for the painting or any other project that the town pays for the Opera House, if we could get, instead of the town directly paying the contractor, we would show the appropriation to the town. The town would appropriate the funds to the Opera House as a pass-through, basically, and then the Opera House would pay the contractor directly. And the reason for this arrangement is just to leverage these tax credits that we could sell to banks, and then we could use those proceeds to do further work on the building. So basically, the town, through the Opera House, would be able to leverage the money that it's already investing in the Opera House to get, you know, very close to 50% more of that money back in tax credits that could be further used to work on the building.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah.
So I guess we're asking for that permission. I mean, if that would be okay with you guys, we could end up leveraging and getting more money, like you said. So we needed to talk to you about it. I talked to Billy Joe. She understands, but I felt like we needed, obviously, to come to you guys and get permission for that.
And the other thing is that this would be strictly on a per project, per, you know, bill of the project basis. It's not like we're asking, you know, give us all the money right now and then we will dole it out to the contractor. It's more as we are doing work that the town is going to pay for anyway, and as the bills are presented for that.
It would have an end, Matt. So
Yeah.
from my understanding is we kind of have to spell out what we're looking at for a project and apply in September.
Mm-hmm.
And if we did get this, it is money that's already committed from the state for this. Next year, who knows what it looks like. But this year, it is committed. We would apply for a certain amount. We would take into consideration the painting and whatever other project that we could think of at that time to come up with that figure. So as for the select board, you know, it's not never ending. It's a specific time. And the time would be, you know, this fall or this winter or whatever.
Susie, I'm a little confused though, because you and Matt had both spoke to me about a grant that was for the Windows specific.
That's a different grant.
Yeah. That's a separate,
With
that's from Preservation Trust, as opposed to.
With that, when you said instead of doing solely Windows, you were going to incorporate the painting, potentially incorporate the painting.
Yes, so it's almost like a double dip, Billy Joe. So the grant that has to do with the windows, we'll call it the Brunn grant, I think that's what it's called. They wanted to see that the town was investing in the building as a commitment, and they never came down to a dollar figure, but we did tell them that the town was doing this painting on the building, and they said that's good enough. They didn't even need to know the hard dollars. So the fact that you're committing to getting the building painted shows goodwill for the Brunn grant, but the actual payment of the painting for the historic credits is a whole separate thing.
If I could, so the Bruin grant that we've received from the Preservation Trust, as part of the agreement to get those funds, we kind of have combined the $50,000 they're giving us to work on the windows with the town's previous commitment to paint the other two sides of the building. Okay, so basically that's been defined as one project, even though there's two sources of money. Now, subsequent to that, we've learned of another grant program through the state that allows us to, as we expend money on the building, we can use those expenditures. Showing those expenditures can allow us to get tax credits through another program from the state. And that's what we're talking about right now, is that
The
as the work,
expenditures are not the $16,000 for painting.
that's
It's
correct.
Separate and above. Two different amounts of money, so it's not actually double dipping.
The
So if you
money,
had somebody paint
yeah, go ahead.
$20,000, you would get 10,000 tax credit, or just under 10,000 tax credit back. Just say,
Right.
round figure, 20,000 just to paint the building,
Hmm.
and you would send that in. Does this have to be done before? And does the work have to be done before you can get the tax credit? Because
I
act
bet-
on it this year.
I bet it doesn't. I don't know. Good question. Larry, we'll have to follow up on that. I'm not sure, because some you can do beforehand and some you absolutely can't, so.
Because I have a quote in front of me, we haven't dove into this yet, it's just on the table for this meeting, and it's specifically on the Opera House, and it's more than what we're putting aside, but if you're gonna get half of it back, it's gonna put it back under budget. Yeah, how
Who
does
did
it
you get
come
the
back?
quote from, Larry?
This is that same painter, I believe, Jesse.
This is the
Go
quote you
away.
received last year, correct?
No, new
No,
one.
it's a brand new one.
Oh, brand new one. Oh, sorry. Okay.
What
What'd
you're
it come
saying
in at?
is you could, and it would help that one grant, but the money spent would help the other grant.
How much did it
The
come in
amount
for?
of
Sorry.
spent for what was supposed to be the Opera House's share of the window grant. But it also looks to the other grant committee people that you've invested, so they give you money toward what that was.
They don't, so this historic credits is, so like at the Quincy, they put in that, when Avis put in that sprinkler system, she submitted that amount to historic credits and they gave her 50% of the money and she just kept that money and it helped balance out what she spent on the sprinkler system. Does that help clarify what it is, how it works?
So they just give you the money, you don't have anything specific, so you don't have to do more building improvements with it or anything?
In theory, what they're doing is they're paying you back half of what it costs to incentivize you to do the work in the first place.
I
So
guess it would help me. I think it would help me a little bit, like if you were saying flat out, are you asking for more than the $16,000 that's slated already?
no. We're
But this
asking,
bid is
asking who, Billy Joe, the select board or the grant people?
Friends of the Opera House asking for more than $16,000 for different projects, including the windows, but including painting and including everything else that you, for these credits, the grant combined, are you asking for more than the $16,000?
So for the historic tax credit application, if we can pool more than just the painting in there, if there's money expended on a few other things, we will ask the most that we can ask to get 50% back from them. I don't know the exact parameters of that grant. I know it comes due in September, I believe. And Heidi might have a better grasp of that. We probably should have invited her in here. But we're good. That's why we wanted to throw the painting in, to ask for as much so we can build up the projects as big as they can, because they're going to give you, if we get it, they're going to give you 50% of that project. So we want to build the project up as large as we can so we can leverage that much more money back.
So I think what we're asking for at this time is not for an increase in the budget for the painting. What we're asking for is specifically the permission for the town to appropriate the funds that are expended on the painting to the Friends of the Opera House, and then we will pay the contractor in the shoes of the town, because that will allow us to qualify for these tax credits. If the town pays the contractor, the Opera House doesn't have the opportunity to use those that expenditure for the tax credits. Okay, so we're just asking for the permission to act as a pass-through from
Whatever
the
that
town
amount is.
to the contractor. We're not talking about dollars. Yeah.
How does it pass back if municipalities are not supposed to apply? How does the 50% come back? Because this number, what we have here is going to be over budget. So if we send stuff that's over budget, we want to get back down to budget, and that tax credit would help do that. How
So
does it come back?
can you tell us what that is, Larry? I know you had 16.5 or something set aside from a meeting last year or 2 years ago. You had money put in for a fund for painting that the townspeople specifically said yes to.
He's got exterior painting, front wall, wood tower, and left side wall. And remove all loose paint, caulk or needed, apply 2 coats, self-applying paint. Labor and materials, 24,000.
Okay,
So that's 8,000 over.
about 8,000 over.
Okay.
And then we also,
Front wall, wood tower. I'm assuming tower all the way around, not just.
Right.
right.
Specific there.
So two
So-
things, if I can, two things.
Yeah.
So the Bruin grant that we received is $50,000 plus the expenditure. Then, as an added thing, the town is going to fund the painting. Now, there may be some. We're waiting to receive bids for the window restoration part of the project. When that is through, there may be some additional funds from that Bruin grant that are available to subsidize the painting. Okay, so the estimate that we have in hand for the windows is about $40,000. The amount of the grant is $50,000. So
But is it in the grant that you have the flexibility to do that?
yes, absolutely.
It is.
Yes.
So that
we
it's
have-
not just windows, it can be the
That's-
restoration of any part of the building.
That's
we
correct. So the-
revamped it to
Yeah.
painting and windows.
Oh,
So
okay.
the whole project is painting and windows, and
Yeah.
whatever funds are not spent on the windows from the Bruin grant can be used to spend on painting. So we'll have a better idea of what that is once we receive bids on the window project. But just want to let the town know that they can expect that there could be funds from this Bruin grant that help with the painting side of the project.
If there's money
Second
left
point.
over. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Second.
So, yeah, the second thing I was going to say is that the, excuse me, the.
Jim Cameron.
Right, and then the other thing is that we have to, if that's the bid that we received for painting, if there's a possibility that we can negotiate with them about, we have an offer on hand from Jim Cameron to assist with providing a lift and even possibly providing volunteers to do some of the work. If there's a possibility that the town can negotiate that price down, if we can get some of the work done by volunteer, or if the use of the lift is provided by Jim at no cost, is there a possibility we could negotiate that price down? Because he has offered that for the use of the Opera House on that painting project. So
Larry, does that bid spell out the cost of the lift in there?
No. It just gives labor, materials.
I wonder if we could reach out, because that's a substantial piece, I'm sure. Because not only do we have Jim Cameron's lift, we also have Jason Doe's lift.
I think Pierre's the one that usually talks to Jesse.
Is Pierre on here?
I called him, he was gonna try to, he's very late. Thought he'd get here a little after 7, but he's not sure. I know he's the one that I think knows Jesse and has talked to him. I thought he he was gonna get a quote without the tower, because we knew it was gonna be over budget.
Right.
And so this
Yeah.
included the tower, 24,000, and I'm still trying to wrap my mind around this whole credit with the bank, because, you know, we're gonna be putting out more funds than what we budgeted. I know you're saying this other grant's gonna have some come back, but are we gonna be buying down the budget numbers? Where's this extra money, credit money gonna go? Because it's gonna come. It has to go back into the building, that's what I was understanding.
So Larry, I think also, I'm not sure, Billy Joe, if you can look at years previous, but I think not using the Opera House all winter long, there's going to be equity left in that, that 30,000 line for sure. Last year there was, we didn't know that it was going to be, but because we would have figured out how to spend it. But this year we know that there will be, because we're simply not even in there most of the time. Electricity and heat and air conditioning has not been expended. So there will also be additional monies in our general line item, which I think is a plus. I know you have to look at the numbers, but I think that there's about 3 different options to make sure that that painting is covered, being getting the estimate down because of stuff that we can provide with the money in the Bruin grant, and the fact that the line item won't be fully expended. The money coming back from the historical credits, if need be, could be an option, but we're really hoping to use that money for other facility things that aren't to that major level. We do know there's mold issues that need to be mitigated. We do, there's places to spend where there's going to be sheetrocking and insulation and stuff that needs to be done there as well. So when I say building expenses, there's a number of projects that need to be done that have not been funded.
So just to clarify, the money that comes back from the tax credits, it's specifically for building maintenance, or is it? Sorry.
I thought somebody said, no way.
I think, to be clear, Polly, it really is our intention, and I think it's the Bruin intention is to cover the cost of whatever that project was, to help send some money back toward the expense that created. Our intent from the Opera House is to spend it facility-wise on, if we've sent that extensive list, I believe, a few months ago, that had all these things going on. And we have to rip up carpet for sure to help mitigate this mold issue. We have to rip out sheetrock up to a certain point above where you see mold growing. There's going to have to be insulation that's replaced. The facilities committee hasn't specifically sat down and said, if we get this money, where are we going to spend it? But it would be on the building. Like I said, it wouldn't be on programming. It wouldn't be on Matt's payroll. It would be on building issues.
So, okay. So then my other question is, would you somehow prove that the line item we have for painting goes towards specifically painting? Because it's a line item, you can't just kind of take the money and then kind of shift it. Right?
Yeah.
So I think if you can demonstrate that the painter is being paid the amount of the town money, and I think if you can somehow create some kind of agreement with the town that the money that you would get back would go into building maintenance, then I think you probably would, that makes the most sense between friends and the town. Yeah.
Like Matt said too, we would not be saying, give us the line item for painting. There would be the paint, say they did $10,000 worth of work. They said, look, we'd like to get paid for 10,000 of it. Bring the bill to you. You guys forward the 10,000 from that line item. We pay it. It just has the Friends of Opera House on the checking account to show for that other thing. We wouldn't be just saying, let us handle it. We would bring that documentation in. And we can certainly, Matt, we could get together. We need to get together.
Yes.
And we could come up with some sort of statement of intent bring to you about those funds.
I understand the town's concern about this project being over budget, and here's the way I see it. The painting, the town has committed $16,500 to that in that special line item. Your estimate you have is 24, something like that. I'm hoping through a combination of, if we can negotiate with the contractor to leverage some of this volunteer work that we have, this volunteer help that we have to bring that down, that would be good. If not, the Bruin grant should have some extra money in it that we can transfer over to the painting side of the project. Like I said, we should know more about that in the next week or two, in terms of when we start receiving estimates on the window side of the project. There may be, up to $10,000 available there that we could move over to the painting side to lessen the burden on the town. And the third thing is that if we do go forward with this tax credit, if we can allow, if the town can allow us to expend those funds in the name of the Opera House, and then we can go through with the tax credit program. If we receive that money back, let's say that the town does go over budget on the painting side, if the Friends of the Opera House receive that tax credit back from the state, in a dollar for dollar fashion, if the town wants to, it can lower the regular line item from for the Opera House in the future, for the next year for dollar whatever we receive from the state, and that in a way will lessen the burden on the town in terms of money spent on the Opera House. So in a kind of weird way, the town will get that money back if it doesn't have to spend it on the Opera House in the future. Now I'm hoping that options 1 and 2 will work out so that the town doesn't commit any more than it has budgeted to the painting of the Opera House. And if that's true, then the tax credit money that the Opera House would get back, we could just plow into some other project. As Susie said, we have all these other projects on the table we'd like to get.
I think there's plenty to do with, but to lower,
Anyway, my point is just that I think there's 3 different options available to us on this to lessen the exposure of the town to going over budget on the painting. And so,
well, the one thing we got to look at also is this is not going to be the last time the Opera House is painted.
Of course not.
So we kind of need to look at this as also a fund to repaint it in future years, because we're going over budget now. It's going to be a lot higher down the road, and we need to piece it out over the years and have a slush fund there.
Well,
there's an ability to do it.
I also think we've kicked the can down the road so many years that all of a sudden you're in the situation where the whole damn building need to get painted, versus maybe we do a side, every few years. We kind of were in the situation where, oh my God, all 4 sides suck. So, I think we can plan ahead, hopefully.
Well, you're looking at $40,000 every 10 years.
Yeah.
And it's going to be $50,000 this next time. So I'm just saying that, if we agree to do something like this, I think some of the credits need to be set aside for a fund like that, because it's not going to go down unless you get a lot of people volunteering down the road to do this. And you have to have, people you can trust too, because it's not a short building. Up here on the top is pretty dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Have we made any headway on the roof insurance situation?
Nope. There's been no contact with them.
Because you had a real low bid, right?
Right, and I sent Mr. Billadue's bid to the insurance company, and they were supposed to duke it out, and they haven't got back to me. I'll make a note to call them.
I can't hear.
So initially, the insurance company, I don't know if you've talked to BJ about this, they were saying, it only costs this much for a slate roof, which is way under what it actually costs.
Absolutely.
So we had Mr. Billadue send the information back, and it's supposed to be trying to hash it out because it is, you know, it's a slate roof. It's not a typical roof, and it's gonna be expensive to, you know, they're thinking it's a cheap fix, cheap
I know.
insurance. And right away, so right now, they're not looking to send us a lot of money for it.
So
They did send us-
Billy Joe, did I hear you say you haven't heard anything back?
No, we haven't heard anything. I will call tomorrow.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to push this along because just sense-wise, you paint a building, you want to make sure the roof is good. You don't want to put new paint on a building where the roof isn't good.
The availability of Jim's lift, or is that for, if we're talking to the painter about adjusting his estimate, what is the time frame of his lift being available? You
Well, I know it's available now, and Jason has committed because of all the work volunteers did on the Masonic Hall. I don't know what his timeline is, but Matt, write that down. Let's ask what the end date on that availability is. Did the painter indicate at all when he would be able to get it done?
No, there's
Did you
nothing.
ever put an ad in the paper for painting?
Did we? No, I didn't. Was that?
Me for the last time.
Okay.
Somebody put out an RFP. I thought that's what you wanted it for.
Can you send me what I'm required to do and a copy of that bid, and I will get it in the paper this week? I'll go through the messenger, we'll meet the legal requirements. If I don't know what your is it 2 in every 14 days, or I don't know what the legal requirement is for you guys.
We just have always just put it in the messenger. I just thought that's what you needed the RFP for. That's the only reason I asked.
Oh.
You had asked for it when you were away, and you said, please send it to me. I thought you were looking it over so you could run something.
We needed to include it in the grant.
Oh, I see.
They needed to see how it was requested. Yeah. You said you're required to go out to bid because it has been so long. Does that mean putting it in the paper? If so, I can do that for you.
Paint?
No, yeah, for painting, we want her to put it in an ad in the paper.
Okay, I'll stop.
And-
Oh, in the Dropbox this morning. We hadn't put anything out there. I think
Oh.
Pierre maybe talked to them.
Oh,
But it probably should be in the newspaper for everybody.
Yeah, to bid it, it should go in the newspaper. Yeah.
right. I thought we had to, so.
Yep.
All right, I'll stop by Billy Joe and you tell me anything I need to do. Stop and see Billy Joe. Was there anything else, Matt?
I'm not thinking of anything immediately. I know that, I mean, we're really focused on getting this grant working, getting, and if we can get the building painted this year, that would be, excellent. And working on getting these window bids, and then if we can get some progress on the drainage at some point this year, that's what we're working toward. We have lots of other things, but the roof included, but those are the major issues right now. I can't think of anything right now that's.
The only thing I want to mention is Matt's discovered 2 of the windows out in the back have broken, of the brand new windows that we had put in at ground level. And I know they're included in the grant, but I'm not sure that that's the realm we want to go in, because that grant would normally put in single pane windows. And we have put the others in there for weatherization purposes as well. But I think the lawnmower guys is hitting that window. It's shooting out little stones or something. There's 2 windows that have been broken in the back. I don't know what the answer to that, if there would be shutters that we could, I don't know, that Phil would close the shutter on the outside before he mowed or something. I don't know what the answer is. Anything we put up there, it's going to get broken all over again, and plexiglass gets cloudy and yucky.
Yeah, so that's something that happened in the last month. The good news is it's double pane glass, so only the exterior glass is broken, but that means it's not very well insulated now. But it looks I can't say that for sure if it was the lawnmower, but it seems like that, because if it was vandalism, I would feel like they would have been able to break both panes of glass. So, but yeah, we may have to come up with some protocol for how to mow around there to stop that from happening. I don't know if Phil's aware that happened or not.
He might be.
Yeah.
He might be now. So that's just an FYI to you guys over there at the select board.
So just for clarification on your tax credits, you're looking at, they would be on the painting, on the $50,000 grant also, or not?
Not on the $50,000 grant. But the painting, it allows a couple other things. Matt, what do you remember? Like if it was something to do with like fire alarm system or whatever, we're just trying to find anything that's in the realm. I'm not sure what else, Dean, but it would behoove us. It would behoove us. Tell your wife I said the word right. If we could get as many projects together and build up that main expenditure as high as possible with what we've already planned, so that we can get half of it back.
Yeah. Well, I just didn't know if the window restoration project would fall in there or not. No.
I don't think so. I think we did ask that one.
I don't think it obtains because it's a grant fund as opposed to a general appropriation.
All right. If we did drainage work, that would probably fall in there, or is it got to be specifically to the
I'm not sure, but I'm going to keep track of that for sure. We would throw it in if we could. But I realize we have it's brought up a lot of questions we didn't have answers to, and Matt and I will work on this week to try to get some answers to those questions.
Yeah, because there was a grant for the drainage, but it was above surface. We wanted to, actually another round that's probably going to get kicked into. It had to be answered by last week to be on this round. But that was just for, if you have some grass and some way to buffer the water going in there. And I'm like, well, you don't want to do that and then end up digging it up for the foundation because it still leaks. It's like we want to get that fixed before you apply for the aesthetic.
Right. And I think at some point, Billy Joe, I don't remember, but I know Gary said that they would help with excavating and that type of thing. So think of us in this collaboration. And I didn't know if need be, and there was a piece of equipment that they didn't have that the select board had with their road crew, that there'd be some cooperation on both ends with that to get it done.
I think because it's been about a year since we talked about this last, we probably need to ask the village again to get cooperation.
Yeah, I'm going to reach out to Gary because of that. Peter Mazurek is coming this week to at least be in on the conversation, because I know the bigger conversation will also be, where does that water go?
And now back to that tax credit again, there was a deadline.
It's September. It's September that the application is. What I've got to go back and find is what Polly asked. Can we expend funds now, or does it have to be after? And
it basically would be coming from whatever we put forth, the funds that we put forth.
The sense it would be after, so that they actually see that you've made the improvement, but that's kind of my gut.
Yeah, I'm
saying
to think.
You can't do 30,000 unless the town gave you 30,000. I mean, it's limited by how much we have in our budget to give forth.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Right. Again, I mean, we're really just asking for the permission to have the town, pass the funds through the Friends of the Opera House, so that if we do qualify for this program, we could take advantage of it. You're absolutely right that any money that we'd be getting tax credits for would come from the town. Yes.
Right. Yeah, because we only got so much that we can put forth, and if it's all in the windows, hopefully we can get this down, but it's still going to be 16,000, 18, 20, somewhere in that range. And
So
then above that, be from, I don't know where the money would come from.
Who's gonna talk with the painter to find out, like, how much of that is, hiring a
I think we
lift?
need to rebid it there. If this, I assume there was a bid put out because there's a bid in front of me. And she said it was just dropped off, so I'm wondering if Pierre talked to him and asked him, you know,
I bet he did.
we had a discussion of not including the tower. And so it does include the tower, but I think we need to look at it two different avenues to bid it.
Is that in a price that's detailed to include or not include the tower and lift?
Um,
And this can,
Billy Joe, is there any way to scan that bid document that came in? And I'll talk to you about getting it out there and see if we can get any more. Would he have to do it all over again, or would we just include that in the?
He needs to do it again so we see where his numbers came from.
No, I know, but that, I mean, if we put a thing in the paper and said we're accepting bids for painting, and does he have to send that whole thing back through again? Meanwhile, could I call and say how much of this bid was renting lift equipment?
So I'm going to give you my thought process. I think he
Yes.
needs to resubmit a bid because we are now on public broadcast and we've just said how much his bid is,
Yes.
which means, right? So I think he needs to reevaluate and send in a new bid.
Yeah.
Includes the lift or not, and, you know, on the tower too.
All right. So when we put out the bid request, we're going to ask them to spell out equipment rental, labor, and materials. Because if we got volunteer labor, then we could see where that labor line would be able to go down. And okay.
One final thing, if we could throw in there, since we're having the windows restored anyway, the windows and window openings, I believe, would be restored by the window people, and so
Yes.
they do not need to be painted by the painter. So if we could somehow put some language in there, you know, not including windows, would be helpful, I think.
Okay. This is what I'm going to do tomorrow. Perfect. Okay.
That's all I have. Thanks for your time.
All I have.
everybody.
Do you have any
Just
questions?
Dean-
This
Yeah.
painting even something that's possible to happen this year at this point, I wonder?
Well, I think hopefully, I mean, I don't know how much work with this COVID, everything's weird. How much work do they have out there? And fall's always a good time to paint. So, you know, I don't know.
I think these are, maybe we need to be specific if we're looking for bids on when we want it done, I would
Right,
presume.
right. Good point.
It gets a little cold by the end of September.
Yeah.
Doesn't dry well.
All right. Any other questions for us?
yeah, I'm all set. Yeah. No, we're,
Okay,
pretty good.
thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay.
Good point, Polly, on the bid.
Yeah, I was like, oh boy.
Keeper, I heard a couple of words out there that should be beep. All right, so we can discuss this, but we gotta get the bid resubmitted and I think if we do go something with tax credits, we need to have a list, like you said.
Do you think you can talk to back on people's to see if they have a paper on it that we could read?
Yeah, and send it around so we all can look
I mean,
at it.
I'm confused.
Understand it a
I am
little bit
not
more.
afraid.
But I think,
I can give you a little breakdown of how that works. It's confusing, I give you that.
I think,
Well,
I
just
think,
kept-
I think I understood it by the end, but it took me a bit.
It's an odd way to issue a grant.
Yeah,
It is, but it's similar, the Bruin grant is very similar to like the downtown or village tax credits.
But
that-
how does people just give, let's say, People's Trust?
Yeah.
How do they just give them? How are they getting money?
That part I don't understand.
I'm not thinking anybody
actually,
just
I
giving away
don't know, I
money.
don't know the timeframe that would come by.
I have a feeling it has, they have some tax benefit on their end when they purchase those historic tax credits.
I would like to see the historic tax credit paperwork, I think, just to kind of get a better understanding of it.
Called Bruin, I guess it's called Bruin Grant.
No, the tax credit piece, not the Bruin grant. But yeah, I can dig for that. Who's next on our list? Is Yvonne? Who's next?
On is next.
Oh, yay. Okay.
20 minutes
Hi,
late.
everyone. Am I
Hi,
next?
Vaughn.
Hi.
Yes, you are. Right there.
All right, so I'm here on behalf of Enosburgh Rec, and I'm here to talk about two things. The first one is the rec fields revitalization plan. Back in April, we had the SC group present to you guys the whole plan, the final plan. And this month we met for the first time since that presentation with our steering committee. And we realized that I don't think it was officially adopted from you guys. I could be wrong, but I don't think it was adopted when after you guys saw the presentation. And I came to ask if you guys would adopt the plan, because we realized this would really help us when we start applying for grants and of course to move forward with the projects. And it would be with the understanding that it's just a guide to get us started. You know, this is a long-term project. It might take 5 to 15 years. So there will be changes to the plan. You know, it's going to evolve, I'm sure. We're not going to do everything exactly as it is there, but it's a guide. So that is what I came to request from you guys. I don't know if I know you already saw it, so I didn't know if you needed to see it again or anything like that.
It's just a formality.
Yeah, it doesn't tie us to any of the costs. It just is, we're saying, yeah, that's a good plan. And then when things come in front of us through the years, we can say yes or no. Like everything.
The village went through a similar process for the Vital Village project.
Yeah.
They formally adopted the plan as this is kind of their guide through the process.
And as we move through the plan, we're gonna come and keep you updated. We already have it in our notes that we wanna come and, you know, let you know what our next steps are, because we already have next steps that we're gonna start working on. Amelia. So we will do that regularly. So of course, before we make any big decisions, we'll run it through you guys, but it's mainly for the records and, you know, just so we know and the steering committee knows that you guys are supporting us and you're, you know, behind this project, so.
So you're waiting for a motion.
I'll move to adopt the plan.
Second it.
So Polly Rico made a motion to adopt the plan. Actually, it should have a name. What is it? Is there a specific grant name for the plan?
The rec fields revitalization plan.
Rec field revitalization plan. Dean Wright seconded the motion. Any more discussion? If having none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye from Terry Wright, aye from Dean Wright, aye from Polly Rico. Do we have any nays? So we are now adopting the plan. Good.
Okay.
Motion's been approved.
Great, thank you. All right, and the next item is the rec fields, the use of the rec fields in light of COVID. I know just last month we met with you guys to talk about this because somebody requested to use the field for their soccer club. And we did come up with a draft. And the reason you haven't looked at it is because it's not finished. We kind of got stuck in the part with, you know, for the porta potties, offering bathrooms. We have it scheduled to talk about it tomorrow at our next rec meeting. And the reason we got stuck with that is because when we looked at examples, we saw other rec organizations, you know, they're cleaning them regularly. We don't have the staff to clean the porta potties every day. And a good example is the state parks, the Vermont state parks, how they're handling the public restrooms. They have someone cleaning them, including porta potties, at minimum 4 times a day. And that's not something that, of course, we know that we can do. So we left it for discussion. We're supposed to discuss it tomorrow. But before we discussed it, I got another request from the same group. And I should add that the group that requested to use the field, they decided to cancel their program because of just many reasons. But the same group asked if they could use the field for pickup soccer. And when someone wants to use the field for a pickup sport, whether it's pickup soccer or pickup basketball, they don't necessarily need to ask us for permission. They don't need to fill out a form. They don't need to provide insurance. But I don't think this person knew that. That's why, and I'm glad he told me, Randy, because now I can bring it up to you guys. And this brings up other issues, you know, even if more people use the field in this form, you know, for a pickup sport, we're not going to be able to track how they're using the field, how many people are using the field. And in that case, they don't have to fill out a form. They don't have to, you know, provide you with any protocol. I mean, they're supposed to be doing some sort of protocol, right? Because of the governor's guidelines, but there's no way for us to track it. And, you know, we haven't figured out the porta potty situation. And I guess it's kind of bringing it up to you guys because I don't know, there's a lot of risk involved, and it's not, you know, because it's mainly because of the emergency services building. If it was any other park without that building there, I don't think it would be such a big deal. But seeing how, you know, the paramedics and the ambulance are in proximity to someone that could have COVID, you know, it doesn't just put them in danger having someone possibly go into their building, but it puts other people in danger. And this is a great example. If this guy, you know, if Randy does pickup soccer, we don't know how many people are going to show up. He can give us an idea, but I mean, it's pickup soccer. He doesn't really need to fill us in on all the details of what he's doing. And we could say, you know, don't go into the emergency services building, but again, it's kind of a risk. So
so just a thought. So you're right. Pickup games, I mean, anybody can just show up and play on the basketball court, right? It's not town sanctioned. So I don't think we can say, it's either we close the fields altogether, which, you know, just tape around it, which I don't think we necessarily want to do, but we could put a sign on the door that says only authorized personnel beyond this point. And kind of just like keep that building off. And if they want to use the fields, then, you know, they're citizens of the town. I don't see how we could say no.
Okay.
Now a Enosburgh recreation functioned event, right, or a team that we can say we're not supporting, but that's just my thought.
okay. And I know it's really difficult to know what I mean, for me at least, for us, and we've talked about it with our committee, and it's kind of back and forth. So, I mean, it's good to get you guys' input on it because, you know, it's tough.
I think there were signs on the doors and no public access, right?
It's just close.
Yeah.
They may have to be assigned near the basketball court, just something signed. you can use these facilities, but
I think it would be safer for this building if we did have a portalet out there. I mean, portalets are kind of entering your own risk anyways, right?
Yeah, I don't know. My feeling is if they're just showing up to play a game, then they're gonna have to find facilities. I don't know if that's going over to Hannaford's, but I think if we put a porta potty out there, it's gonna be our responsibility if we're paying for that porta potty.
And I don't want to do that. No, because, it's starting to be a town responsibility.
Right. yeah, that's it.
That makes sense.
So yeah, maybe just, I don't know what the signage looks like right now, but I guess make it more prominent, make sure nobody really goes into the emergency services building.
You gonna do this or not?
We could eliminate some signs that say absolutely no public restroom. I mean, wordier than that, but we could do some signs and somehow zip tie them or something on a couple of the fences, down and on the basketball court. I don't know.
Okay.
I think that's the way to go. Basically, we just need to let them know that we won't be providing services. But just like saying we're not allowing people to walk through Lincoln Park. I mean, we can't really,
Right.
we can't police that, but we can police the building we own and the services that are in it. So that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Are you thinking that if we get reports from the ambulance service that people are still using the building, that we just close the fields after that?
Yeah, I don't know. We'd have to probably cross that bridge when we come to it.
If we got reports from the
Oh,
ambulance
yeah.
service that people
Yeah.
are using it.
Yeah. Have we had any issues yet or any?
No.
Yeah, I think maybe we just assume the best intent and then we cross that bridge if it's not.
It sounds like with Yvonne's telling us that he's asking, means there's gonna be more foot traffic because they're gonna say, well, okay, we can go over there, so all of a sudden there's gonna be a lot of people here.
Well, he mentioned that because the school, I assume middle and high school canceled their soccer season, that he would like to offer pickup soccer for the kids. So he's using pickup soccer. I don't know how organized it is. If it's like considered like an organized activity. He just wanted to know, basically the email was mostly like, can he start using it as soon as possible? And, does he have to provide insurance? And, but of course that brought up more questions now.
It may be a good point to send him the email back, letting him know to tell people. I mean, we can put signage out there, but letting him know that this building is off limits.
Okay.
For
bathrooms or for water or anything.
And that it's by no way sanctioned with the town of Enosburgh at all. If he's telling people just to show up Saturday at 2, I mean, that has nothing to do with us, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, I also am curious about what the messaging to parents of kids are too. I don't know, but.
Okay, so that kind of answers our question too, because we, like I mentioned, the committee was stuck in this, in the part, we were working on our guidelines for the use of the field, at how we were going to handle the porta potty situation. But I guess it would be the same whether, we just won't have a porta potty. Okay. All right.
Yep, if you have to go, game over.
Right. Yeah, pretty much. Okay. Well, that's what I came to get some guidance on from you guys. So I will let him know, and if if anything else comes up, then we'll go from there, and I guess I'll send you the draft then, the final draft we have for people that want to use the field officially. so you guys can review it and then, let us know if you have any edits on that.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep. All right. Thank you.
Have any?
You too. Bye.
Yeah. We're gonna have to wait for Sean to come back. I don't see,
I can't tell.
I don't know if anybody's waiting to come on. Start up on the agenda next. I got a lot of papers in front of me.
That's funny because I don't have any.
We're just waiting, wondering if you can tell us if Scott figures in the background waiting someplace.
I see Matt out there. Are you on the, are you just checking in, Matt? What's going on?
Good evening.
How are
No,
you?
I'm well, thank you. I came mostly to listen to the discussion about adoption of the rec field plan, so thank you very much for the support on that.
Oh, yeah, we thought a little bird had flown to your house and talked about the CUD that we were gonna sign you up for.
Did you already discuss that this evening?
Yeah.
Great. Was the board in support of that?
Yeah. No. Yeah. We adopted it.
Excellent. Thank you. Sorry I missed that.
This tax rate.
That's just information. No, we don't, it's a school tax rate. That's just showing you where we went.
Yeah. That's a lot. 10 cents.
Richard went down.
Hey, how are you on?
They went down. They went up from the non-homes. They went down. Kind of funny how, I mean, we're in
Monday,
groupings.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Oh,
Here.
Larry, EJ.
He said Scott should be able to jump in and out. He's set, so I'm not.
I'm here.
Oh,
Over there.
okay.
Scott.
Hi.
Sean
I can't
stepped
see
out of
you.
the room, so we can come back here.
Nope.
Scott. All right.
How we doing?
so not too bad. We're trying to stay cool.
I'm on Cape Cod, so.
Okay, yeah, I heard you were out of town. But having a good supper then? Already have?
What's that?
Have a good supper?
Not yet.
Okay. You still gotta catch it then. All right, so you're next on the agenda. I got a few different things in paperwork in front of me. I don't know where you want to start first, I guess.
I was just, well, yeah, I had a couple of things. So I don't know where we're at with the cardiac monitors as far as with Vaughn rewriting the lease agreement.
Yeah, so I had the discussion with Vaughn, and I guess the other company lawyer basically just tossed it to him, and he was supposed to get a rewrite sent out before we were scheduled. We were supposed to meet last Monday. They were
Right.
supposed to be the previous week sent back to Stryker Corporation, or whoever it is, lawyer, whatever
Joel.
for that.
Yep.
I have not heard either way.
Okay.
But I did talk to him because Vaughn said that he thought in all likelihood they were going to reject everything that he was going to put on the paper. So at the onset of hearing that, I also had Billy Joel pick up the other company's lease agreement, send that to him too, if there was wordage in that one way, or if we have to go with this other company. We've got to step on looking at that language. So, yeah, it's very frustrating right now. And I think Vaughn's, I think he's overworked. I don't know. When I talked to him, it seemed like it was a Friday there, and it sounded like he was going to be in the office all weekend. And so I don't know if his other job pulling up, but he. So basically, I don't know if any of you guys are up to snuff on the contract. Bond didn't like the language, and so we talked to the representative for Stryker, and but instead of having a third person, we just had the two lawyers, and being in their hands, we're not getting a lot of feedback. At the same time, the monitors that were here on loan, they wanted them back. Have they got them back, or
No, well,
we still have them?
Scott, they're back.
We still have them. I keep getting nasty grams from Zoll Service every 2 weeks, seeing where the decision is at and whether or not they should move forward with repairing ours that are down there in Massachusetts, or what the deal is with, if we're going to proceed with buying new ones. So I think they're getting a little antsier every 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's. I should have got hold of Vaughn because he was supposed to send you stuff. He didn't send you anything.
No, sir, I have not seen anything.
No, DJ, sorry about that.
Oh,
And
okay.
when I talked to him, I told him we were going to be having that meeting on Monday, and we wanted something in front of us from him, and we have not gotten that from him. Because this contract that they put in front of us, they're going to probably back off on it sooner than later.
The other option that Ryan Shaughnessy, who's the Zoll sales rep, had suggested was just doing a regular straight monthly payment instead of a lease, and that's less paperwork and whatnot. So he threw that out there as well to me to throw out to you folks to see what your thoughts on that were. And obviously,
In the lease,
what's that?
is it any different in the lease cost?
Well, I don't know about that. If it's, maybe we could finagle it that everything that was included in the lease would be included in the monthly payment, i.e. like if something goes wrong and we need to service it, it doesn't cost us anything. So I don't know if we can go that route or whatnot. I'm like I said, the problem is that Zoll Service is looking for their loaners back because they have other ambulance or other organizations that need loaners. So
Yeah, I would want to see the particulars. Like, is it the same? I can't imagine it would be the same. I mean,
he was supposed
knows?
to email me the particulars for that because I had asked him to and told him I had a meeting tonight, but he didn't get that to me. So
Okay.
but yeah, I mean, I can shoot him another message and just say, hey, can you sort of tell us what the monthly payment option looks like and what that could include for us so that we're moving forward with this.
Also, ask him if he's got anything heard anything from his lawyer, because I gotta get hold of Vaughn to find out if he sent it that way, because he was supposed to send it right back. He said he was gonna work on it that weekend and get it sent back.
Okay. Yeah, I'll shoot Ryan a message while I'm down here and see what he says, and if he can email me, and then I can shoot it over to BJ. So.
Yeah, because the Stryker agreement was significantly more, wasn't it?
The Stryker, it was, but I think that, yeah, I mean, Melissa had sent us all that stuff previously, and I think it was, I don't know, we could get back in touch with her and just say, hey, your competitor's offering 0% for 5 years. What can you do? And see if they can match it.
Yeah, the biggest thing is the language in that lease and the lease.
And the trade-in.
Well, that, plus it was also Massachusetts.
Right, yep.
Release, and that needs to be Vermont, not Massachusetts. But so this is not the same.
Well, it's for the other company to consider.
Oh, so they got a little.
Yeah, they broke it down, and I do think on the punching clips that she's. There's less than a minute. Less than
They got the striker one in front of me. I'm just kind of browsing through it to see what their terms are. Trying to find it.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, even if we could get one new one to tide us over, I'd be okay with that. I'm concerned that the longer we wait with Zoll, we're going to end up getting our monitors back that are down there, not fixed, and therefore not usable, because they're just going to say, send us back our loaners.
That's striking.
Yeah, that's not good. 3-year one, 0%. These documents represent for 3 years because you haven't held a legal place, which one you're agreeing to. This is a sample of 3 years.
Okay.
So that will tell you what the payment is on.
So you said, what were you saying, Scott? You said one. You get one for now.
Yeah, I mean, if we could move forward with getting one from either company at this point, I'd be okay with that. Then we can send Zoll back their loaners, and yeah, it'd be a pain to switch them, but I mean, our other truck is only in service 1 week a month, so we could keep one of the second ambulance. Yeah, I mean, the other option is we could purchase a new one, repair one of the ones that's down there, and then look at this again, say in January or December, when we know a little bit better as far as finances go, how we're doing, and go from there. So at least this way we'd be in compliance with having at least one new one come February. So.
Barry, what state is Striker from? Does it say on there what state?
Striker? I almost think I saw Michigan on here.
Striker's out of Mass too, I believe.
On the top corner it says Flex Financial Division of Striker Sales, Portage, Michigan.
Oh, that's where their sales.
That's, yeah, it probably is. Yeah, that's probably their financial.
I did send that over to him for reference, and I said, well, maybe this is a better one anyway, so you can think of the contract, or use it as you need.
And there's one from Chicago, Illinois, so.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
It's old words. I've never made them before, so.
Let me see if I can get one.
What? What's going on there?
Get hold of Vaughn?
Yeah.
You think
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm having a problem with.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, Scott's saying if we buy one and then repair one's probably our best option. Again, I think if we could see what that monthly payment is for both, we could check that out.
Just wondering,
I
what the
feel the
status
same,
of
Molly.
the lease is, right now for that. Okay, so they haven't got anything back either. Okay. Sounds like there's not enough of you. Yeah. Okay, well, what's that? Yeah, we're kind of looking at a couple different avenues. Okay. Right, right. Yep. All right, I just wanted to find out if you got a yay or nay from their company and let the board know where we're standing on that situation so we can pursue different avenues. Okay,
Scott, are you still there?
okay. All right, we'll let you know if there's any change.
Yes.
How often do they use both ambulances?
During the summer more so than the winter time, because the people like Kelly, Coda, and Ginger, and the folks that are in school are around more, so we can staff that second truck. But again, if we need to move forward with just doing one right now and then repairing one, then you could put the repaired one on the second truck and the new one on the primary.
I don't have it all in front of me now, but we probably had, if you bought it, price compared to lease. Because Don still hasn't finished the paperwork, sending it back, but he just doesn't like that lease agreement and wouldn't entertain going with that company with a lease.
Does he think the other company, do you have a chance to read that one? Liz?
Yeah, he just said he's small. So it's kind of like putting back on the table in front of us, which company we want to go again, and we want to buy one rather than lease it.
One thing, that contract with Penny was a lot shorter than the other. I think the print is bigger, people print out less.
But this is all lease, or is there a buy in here too?
No, I think it's. Buy out of
What's the difference in price?
This has number of payments, 27,000. How much was the two? I don't know what the. Valid through the last day of July 2020.
So I just shot a message over to Ryan and he got right back to me. He said the payment would be about the same in quotes. However, we'd own the monitor at the end of the 5 years and then there's no service included. It would all be on us. So if anything goes wrong, we'd have to send it out, get a loaner, and then pay for servicing, etc.
So they don't even have like a 1-year warranty?
Well, yeah, outside of the warranty time frame, in year 2 or 3 when we're right in the middle of using it.
Scott, what if we fix the two that are down there? Now, supposedly the new one probably better than the old ones, right?
Both of the old ones that are down there both need new blood pressure pumps. So, and then if we were to get a new one, the problem is that as of February, then both of them are non-compliant with the FDA, and then we would not have the ability to do 12 leads, and our paramedic.
So let me ask the question, when we buy a truck, so I'm asking the board, when we buy a truck and after the warranty, do we buy a service contract for a truck?
I think we just do the regular, whatever the mileage is on. Yeah. The truck chassis is.
What did you say, BJ?
We have bought extended warranties on the last 4 trucks that we purchased.
We buy extended warranties, okay. That's what I was wondering. I was just thinking like we're buying an expensive piece of equipment. I was kind of trying to do an analogy of what do we do with trucks, but.
Doc, can you buy an extended warranty on a new one?
Warranty is 1 year on the new one, and stand by on seeing if we can get an extended warranty. I'm typing and speaking at the same time.
So he said the price would be similar?
Yep, very close to the quoted payment for that. And then the warranty is 1 year. And then if we do, we can buy an extended warranty.
We can buy an extended warranty?
Yes, sir.
He probably didn't have a price.
Yeah.
Hang on, let me ask him.
We gotta have exact numbers before we can do too much, not estimates.
Oh, I hear you.
Like on the next meeting, if we met on the 3rd, we've all enough time to look at both of them and get solid. It's just a week.
You could just say something about the end of July, something's up on there.
This quote on the striker one is good through the end of this month.
I'm sure.
So they're 81, or basically $82,000. That must be for 2.
It is.
Over 3 years or 5 years or?
3 years is 0.
If we buy it.
Through Striker, 3 years is 0% financing, and then she said 5 years is 1.9% financing.
Let me see what the price are.
Now, would that be 3 years?
That's a sales agreement, so it is a sale. Not a lease.
But I'm saying it's probably a 3-year and a 5-year. If we go 5 years, it's probably 1.9 for the whole 5 years. Okay, and then we pay it out in 3 years. So, okay.
Extended warranty is about $1,000 per year per monitor, roughly. That's just an estimate.
How much does it cost to typically fix it? Like what in the past, what does it usually run us?
So last year when I sent them out for servicing, they didn't find anything wrong. So I think it was $285 per monitor, because they charge a service fee and then shipping, et cetera, et cetera. So, and then this time around, both of them are $2,300
Oh,
for
okay.
work. So, I mean, I guess retrospectively, that's probably not really a bad deal, but.
How old are the ones we have now, Scott, that they gotta put 2,300 into, you know?
Those are 11 years old, so they're well past their prime and well past their usable life cycle at this point.
It makes sense to get extended warranty if these haven't been averaging over $1,000 a year, then no sense upfront on these new ones, extended warranty.
No, we bought them refurbished, they've been good machines.
No, I'm just talking about the new
Yeah.
ones.
Right.
If we want to get
Yeah, it doesn't
extended,
make any sense.
it's something that, yeah.
Personally, I think we should just buy one. I mean, just lease one.
Well, that's the problem we're having with the lease agreement. The language in there
It's,
is some,
it's very one-sided to the company that's leasing.
instead of Massachusetts.
I mean, but
Puts
it's
all eyes on
And
them.
what he said is, what Vaughn said is that it looks like you were, if it breaks down, even to in a lease, you're responsible for fixing it, not the company that's releasing it from. Most things, the lease is covered, unless there's something that's, you know, somebody hits it with a hammer or something. The lease probably isn't going to cover it with that, but most leases, the cars, you know, they'll fix everything over the lease period. And when you buy it out, then you're responsible for all the expenses.
I'm with buying one, 0%, 0%, fixing one, and just, I mean, if we're gonna need one. But I would like to see the numbers, like, we need to see a breakdown, like, how much does this one cost per month if we buy it? How much does this one cost a month if we buy it? How much is this gonna cost total over the life of the loan? You know, I wanna see the breakdown.
Per year, so payment per year, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it didn't break it down monthly, I think it was a lump sum.
It's $27,324 a year for 3 years for 2 machines.
So a little over, so like 11, 12,000, 13,000 a month is what you're talking about. What's that?
Is this for the Striker or the Zoll?
Striker.
Okay.
Oh,
3 years,
2,500 a month.
I'll be honest with you. I think we have the Striker numbers in front of us, and it may cost us a little more, but we have those to work with. I don't anticipate getting the Zoll numbers in a timely fashion to be able to make a forward decision with this. And that's
Well, the guy just texted you back like quickly. So
he did, but I had asked him for the monthly payment breakdown 3 weeks ago, and he hadn't gotten back to me. So, I mean, I can ask him again if we want to hold, but it's up to you guys how you want to move forward with it. I'm just letting you know where I'm coming from. And like I said, Zoll Service is getting, their emails are getting more and more strict, if you will.
Dealt with Stryker in the past on stretchers and different things. We've always had very good luck with them.
Yes.
They've got
I'm not
a,
trying to toot their horn, but.
there's also
I
a
think they're-
breakdown of what comes with it, I guess.
Yeah. And their contract is not as, like I said, it's not as lengthy, it's kind of more straightforward, and I think there's less hidden messages in this one than the other one.
About warranty.
They're kind of like define it. It's a number of places where they may have corporations.
I think the loan company that they work through is in Michigan. But on this right here, it says remit to Stryker Medical, Chicago, Illinois. So this is a breakdown of the cost of all the,
It's itemized.
yeah.
Yeah.
We got one sheet here with what's in it, and they got a breakdown of the cost of what each of those parts are. And they got the trade in, but that must be figured in
How much do they allow for the trade-in?
4,000 each.
That was what we were hoping to get from.
So why?
Yeah, Stryker headquarters is in Michigan, but they have locations all over.
So one question I have on this, on the Stryker one we're looking at. They got a breakdown of everything, and then they got, after the credit, they got some ProCare products. And it says on-site prevent for Life Pack 15B4. I don't know.
Is that a free?
I don't know what it is.
Any of that makes sense to you, Scott?
Can you say it again, please? I didn't.
The description says on-site prevent for Life Pack 15V4 monitor / PFib manual and AED invasive pacing and a bunch of SpO2, SpCO, NIBP, 12
Yep,
lead
those are.
ECG.
Yep, that's the features that we would need for us to be able to provide the service that we can at the paramedic level. So that's the non-invasive blood pressure, the pulse oximetry. We can now measure, if we get that one, we can now measure carbon monoxide. So for like fire departments on scene, structure fire standbys, or if we get called to a carbon monoxide alarm with ill effects. So that's what that all is.
And under, beside it, it has a column for year, and it says 4. So is it good for 4 years? That, I don't know. There's
Yeah, I'm
2 of them.
not sure what that is.
Yeah, that's,
I wonder if that's because it's like, you change these, you have one that is 3 years and 5 years. I wonder if this one is 5, different package.
okay, this is the 2 numbers here. LP15 on-site prevent with battery, quantity 2, then it says 4 years. Then there's LP15 on-site PM, quantity 2, but 1 year.
That might be the warranty then, or the battery life. If they're batteries, then it might be either a 1 year or a 4 year. I don't have the paperwork in front of me. I'm sorry.
But if you bought it for 3, you guys should probably put one and 2 on it.
So you're buying a warranty on the battery.
But it's included in the price.
It's included, yeah, built into the price.
It's not extra. Like, yeah.
So they broke it down again in the back where you can have 3 annual payments of 27, or if you did the 5 years, this must be a 5-year breakdown. 5 annual payments to be 17,000.
With the 5
Must be with the interest in there. Yeah, God's got the interest in it because it's makes it over 85,000. Yeah, they got that built into this page here where you got the. That's all monitor stuff, and then they deducted the trade-in, and then they added the batteries. So you're looking at $82,000, or basically $41,000 a piece, and what's the Zoll ones? Put all that stuff away. Now we're done with it.
Yeah, I didn't bring it. Let me see if I can.
Scott, do you know what the price of a Zoll one is?
Off the top of my head, let me see if I can find. Let's see here. What's that?
I'm looking at all the stuff I had in the past, like, man, these are all. These. These numbers.
Here on. We want to table this till next meeting.
Well, we need numbers. We have numbers from Stryker. What are Zoll's numbers per buyout? That's per buy-in. I don't have.
I didn't bring it with me.
I don't know if we ever talked other than lease payments, so I don't know if we had a buyout number.
Total cost was around 34,000 for one with the accoutrements, the monitor patches, etc. So
Was that with or without the trade-in?
that would be the without the trade-in.
Or they allow any sort of trade-in?
I think we had asked, what do we ask, 2,000 for each of them? Is that what Stryker was giving them?
Actually, Stryker gave 4,000 each,
Oh,
8,000. Yeah. Yeah, I see the 4,000 credit on the other, for the least one we were talking about. For Zoll, I'm seeing on his line item, 4,000 each. So they got a bigger,
I think it was
Bigger total.
4,000 for two, wasn't it?
no, it says
did,
trade-in of non-Stryker device towards purchase of a Stryker device, quantity 2, credit each $4,000, total credit $8,000.
Oh,
I think this is the email. Ryan sent Scott. Because it was three. Lease and buy, and this is a monthly payment.
I found Ryan's email with the buyouts for the 4 and 5 year terms of the lease. I don't know if that helps.
Yeah, it's gonna be a different number if we do the bought, if we go into purchasing it
And then
instead of
there's,
leasing.
then there's balloons.
I would assume, maybe not.
So 4 year lease was $1,384 a month with a $12,500 buyout for both units. And then 5 year term would yield $1,224 a month with $7,500 buyout for both units.
Can you repeat that, Scott, please? Sorry about that.
Sure. So 4 year term for lease would be $1,384 a month with a buyout of $12,500 for both units. And then a 5 year term would be $1,224 a month with a buyout of $7,500 for both units. And that's with no money down.
Yeah, the problem there is we can't accept that lease agreement, so we'd have to be
Right.
buying out from the beginning.
Right.
So he said the monthly payments are gonna be similar, and this is financing through them, more than likely. I don't know what their terms were. So let's say 1384. No, this is for two units, right?
Yes, sir.
So 62,324 for 4 years. Or 66,252 for 5 years. If the payments are similar to the lease, if you're buying it out, looking at for 5 years, 2 monitors through Zoll for 66 versus 82 through Stryker. So I guess the other thing I would want to know, Stryker has, I know you probably can't see that, but they have itemized list of everything that's included in there. And
Yes.
I would want that from Zoll, so we know, oh, that's what the difference is. They're adding something in their package that this other one doesn't have.
Yeah, I don't think Zoll is incorporating all of the pads and the monitoring devices that Stryker has added. So I think what you see is what you're getting from Stryker.
Right.
Which, like I said, I'm hesitant to I don't know how, I'm not sure how Ryan will respond timely wise as far as this goes.
Are we trying to look for something so we can do something on the 3rd? We gotta do it before then.
Well, he said that he's getting an email every 2 weeks, and so 2 weeks will bring us to the 3rd if he just got one.
Yeah,
Is that
Zoll
correct?
sent, yep, Zoll Service is sending me emails every 2 weeks, checking in to see where we're at, so. But like I said, this third time might be a charm, and then they're gonna say, we want our monitors back, and we're gonna send you yours with not fixed, so.
I did have a conversation with their salesman, and a little snippy with me, and I said that the problem lies with their lawyer dumping it on our lawyer where it wasn't our issue to fix. We told them where the problem areas were, and their attorney should have fixed those problem areas, but instead they dumped it on ours for lack of wanting to do it. So when I told him that, he kind of backed off, but obviously they're sending messages to Scott, so it means.
But that's why I'm saying, well, maybe instead of leasing, we just do
Just buy.
a total buyout. And who has, you know, one company has a year warranty, what's the other company have? I don't know what Strikers has here. But also, in Strikers, they have a lot of other items that we're not gonna be getting. And you may have to purchase afterwards.
Correct.
I don't know. Because
Yeah,
Zoll may just say something, and then, oh, by the way, you gotta buy these that are in this list,
Right, and
that's all here.
That seems to be a
So,
package.
yeah, and we would have to, so the Zoll X series, which is the monitor that we're looking at, none of the equipment or the parts that we have for our current monitors are compatible naturally. So yes, we would have to buy all new blood pressure cuffs and pulse oximeters, you know, the attachments for everything to go there. So yeah, that's gonna add money coming out of the equipment versus what we already have, what Melissa already listed on Strikers. That's all obviously included in that package.
yeah, so for Strikers, the number one line item is 2 monitors, 31,000 each, for a total of $62,000.
Yep.
If you stop there, they're probably exactly what Zoll is offering here.
Correct.
And then and you look at the dollars, you know, they're pretty close when you look at that. All these itemized things, you're probably gonna need, I don't know, have you looked through it?
Yep, that's all, like I said, that's all the equipment or accessories, if you will, that we would need to be able to utilize that monitor the way it's designed to be used. So we could do 12 leads, we can do non-invasive blood pressure readings, pulse oximetry. The new feature with the carbon monoxide would be wonderful with structure fire standbys, etc. So
You're agreeing that Stryker comes as a complete package, nothing else to order, where the Zoll has to basically nickel and dime it.
yes, Zoll is a big question mark as far as what's included after the monitor purchase, if anything, or what we have to shell out for basically replacing all the supplies, you know, the accessories, if you will, that are listed in the Stryker one. So
Could you send them, you don't have to put the price on there, but just the list items that Stryker has listed, and ask Zoll how many of these things are included in that price? And if not, what are the costs of them?
I can, yes.
Because it's a huge difference, because right now you look at the bottom line, it's like, wow, the Stryker is really a lot more expensive, but they may not be, because we may not be comparing the same.
Right, I think you're looking at a company that is all-inclusive and gives you the startup package with no surprises versus the other one that's hiding a lot of stuff in your contract and is going to surprise you with, hey, you need all this stuff. Now we have you over a barrel because you just bought the stuff.
Right. Honestly, I would, if the board's amenable, I would move to go with the striker just because everything is there in black and white in front of you and we know what we're going to get. Whereas I agree with BJ, you're over a barrel now that you have the monitor, but guess what? You need all this other stuff to make it functional and useful for you. And that's going to cost you X, Y, and Z. So
I would like to see you get a list, you know, so we can compare apples to apples. We're not comparing apples to apples right now. By next meeting, we have these figures published and we can decide.
Yes. Jake, can you ask Stryker if they would honor this through our next meeting?
Sure.
yeah, that's the same numbers that Melissa had emailed us back in December or January when I first presented that. And I asked her if she could just change the dates and she didn't have a problem with it. So nothing had changed. So I'm sure she will not have
Actually,
a problem.
on this page, that's weird because on the front, it said it was good through July 20th, but on this page, it says quote date, May 26th, expiration date, August 24th.
Yeah, I had asked for I'd asked for that when we started discussing, when we got the news back from Zoll that the monitors both needed $2,300 worth of work.
Well, we haven't decided yet, but I'm fine at our next meeting should be the first Monday. If we want to table this until we have the concrete numbers in front of me, boss.
Either that or else when we go, if and when he gets that information, BJ lets us know. I mean, say it's like by the end of the week, we just have an emergency meeting and just.
Oh, we're meeting in 2 weeks.
Okay.
What do we table it?
Table it.
So is BJ finding this information or is Scott finding this information?
I'm just talking to the striker person. I don't.
Oh, we're just talking to Stryker. We're not talking to Zoll at all.
Scott is going to talk to Zoll.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Stryker's package is pretty much black and white in front
Right.
of us.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify.
And on the Zoll one, I mean, see if they got 0% for 3 years and what their terms are, I guess. Because at the end of the day, we want to be comparing the same thing.
Right. We can't use that lease agreement for anything.
It sounds like right now, after seeing some of this, trying to figure it out, it sounds like Stryker company is a little more upfront. But
And we're looking at purchases, not leases, or?
this one's a purchase. And we really can't do the lease with Zoll, with the terminology that we have. And Ron's been struggling to get it out, and I don't think we're gonna get an answer
It seems
by
very
our next
complicated
meeting on
because
that.
of it being.
And I don't foresee a huge difference if the monthly payments are gonna be about the same, and we're gonna be owning it at the end. You got a 1-year warranty where you're gonna have 2 or 3 years where you have to cover anything that goes wrong, but it may not be a lot for 2 years. But can you get us those concrete numbers from Zoll in front of us for our next meeting?
Yep. So you want pricing on all of the accessories that Stryker is including, right?
Yeah.
And then monthly payment, the total monthly payment, the total of the monthly payments instead of a lease program.
Yes. Yeah, if they do it, yes.
Okay.
Terminology is it monthly payments or how they break them out, annual or. I don't know, is it just usually annual or? We don't do that.
I mean, you could do it however you decide. You don't go through their financing either, you can put it on the bank and go further out, so we could stretch the payments.
So, yeah, we'll have to move on this next month, because I thought we were done 2 months ago on this. And, yeah, it's, if they take the other one, is it both of them? Neither one of ours are working, or do we have one of our own that works?
So the two that we have right now on the ambulances are loaners from Zoll. And as I said, Zoll service is getting testy because they want them back because other organizations probably need them, facing the same issues we are. So, so no, both of them are working now, but the problem is obviously by next meeting in 2 weeks, I'm not sure what Zoll service is going to do if they're going to just send back our monitors and say, you're out of luck, send us our loaners back. So.
Are we still looking at 2 or just 1? Do they need to be fixing?
If there's no great package deal, we might just buy one now and then buy the second one February or.
Do we need to repair 1?
No.
Yeah, if we're only buying one, we would need one repaired.
Scott was saying there's a possibility he could use that, move that one back.
Right, but if you had a call, you could call ambulances, how you're gonna do that one?
That'd be the only thing.
Right. Because the biggest thing is if you go through and you spend, say it costs you $2,000 to get them fixed.
It costs $2,300, right, Scott, to get them fixed?
A piece.
2,300 each, yes.
But then you look at your payments going towards a new one, and I know Ryan was saying your payments can be kicked out little ways where you're only gonna make a couple this year. So you're not, I mean, you spend 2,300 or make payments.
We spend 2,300, get one fixed. What are the options of getting one off a grant next year rather than having to buy it? We would buy it.
Well, that's what I thought we had, the first time. But what do you think, John? Got another grant, no idea.
I looked, and there's not a lot for specifically EMS ambulance equipment, training, staff, equipment. There's not a lot. There's one that I found, especially issue over the next probably 12 to 18 months is, I'm seeing this all over the place, is money's either being diverted or a lot of the stuff's on hold until it's kind of all passed by. Some stuff's still moving forward, but a lot of anything to deal with medical is oftentimes being diverted to purchasing PPE, and it's being diverted to high-risk areas.
And the problem is the grant for, like, say, the AFG grant, the Assistance to Firefighters grant, that doesn't necessarily come out until May or June of the fiscal year. So we obviously wouldn't be able to wait because as of February 2021, both our monitors would be out of compliance and out of service. So we can't bank on a grant.
FEMA grants are on hold, Scott.
Yep.
I just found out a week or two ago. I sat through the webinar for, essentially what was applied for the beginning of 2020, and they have delays in processing all those applications, and then we'll find out about the COVID one, but we haven't gotten word from that yet. That was supposed to be coming down soon, but then they basically said anything for the remainder of the year, and then even 2021, they're kind of up in the air on how they're not going to even have those same programs.
Yeah.
Scott, I want to ask you a question about a new one. How long can we get that certified? How long are they, how many years down there? You're saying
long?
that these old,
How long would the new ones be certified for? The new ones would be certified until the FDA basically says they're non-compliant for whatever reason, so,
They change the rules.
yes, correct.
So what do you think, 15, 20 years, or?
Well, I mean, with the current ones that we've had are 11 years and 2021, so it'll be 12 years. So yeah, I would say probably 12 to 15 years before we would be facing this dilemma again, ideally.
The ones we got now are used anyways, refurbished, right?
Correct, yes, sir.
So how old are those? When the year on those?
Those are both 11. Like I said, I don't know when we got them. We might have gotten them when they were 5 or 6 years old. So, but they're total of 11 years old, both of them.
So probably a new one would be good maybe for 15, 18 or something like that to start out.
Yes, ideally, unless the government decides they want to change something about them.
Yeah, okay.
Another question for you for Spiker and BJ for Spiker and for Scott and Zoll is when would the first payment be if we went through their financing? Because that might answer, do we repair one or do we buy two? We're gonna spend $2,300. Every month we're waiting, it's still gonna be $2,300 to repair it. And for now we're down to what, less than 6 months before it's out of compliance.
Ooh.
So you're gonna put $2,300 for 6 months, or do you put 23? How far do your payments go?
So it
Okay.
sounds like we have a plan for next meeting, and the more homework that can get done, the quicker this is gonna move.
Yes.
That's correct, yes. The holdup, like I said, I'm concerned about is Ryan, but he said he's going to send everything over to BJ tomorrow, including that quote with everything broken down. So we'll see.
Great. Yeah, so take a look at that and see if any of our questions aren't answered there, if all the specifics are there, and yeah, then we can move.
Okay. So that covers that part. Do we need to go in executive, Scott, or you have some others?
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to discuss the schedule and membership, so I guess we could go into executive. That would be great.
I'll move.
I'll second.
So Polly Rico moved to go executive session, Pierre Letourneau seconded. Any more discussion? Have none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those- Terry Wright had an aye, Polly Rico aye, Dean Wright had an aye. And here's Pierre, say aye. Any nays? Okay, we are now in executive session.